Hey everyone, this is Alicia Lozoya, and today I'll be presenting on conflict management and dispute resolution design in government agencies. I'm going to walk through 4 resources that I've reviewed, a realistic conflict scenario, and recommendations for both dispute resolution systems and training. Conflict is unavoidable in any workplace, but in government agencies it can be especially challenging because of formal processes, strict timelines, and interdependent departments. Effective conflict management improves communication, reduces delays, and increases trust across teams. My first resource is a peer-reviewed journal article titled Conflict Management and Performance of Organizations. This article takes a comprehensive look at how different conflict management approaches impact the overall workplace effectiveness. It focuses on the 5 well-known conflict styles from the Thomas Kilmann model: collaborating, compromising, avoiding, competing, and accommodating. One of the key insights from the article is that organizations that rely heavily on avoidance or competing styles tend to experience more long-term issues, including lower morale, higher turnover, and reduced productivity. In contrast, workplaces that encourage collaborative and interest-based approaches, they see stronger team relationships and better problem-solving outcomes. The article also emphasizes the importance of early intervention. It explains that when managers are trained to recognize the early signs of conflict, such as communication breakdowns, repeated misunderstandings, or growing frustration, they can address issues before they escalate into formal grievances. Another important point is that conflict management is not just about resolving disputes. It's directly tied to organizational performance. The article shows that when employees feel heard and supported, they are more engaged, they're more efficient, and more committed to organizational goals. And this is especially relevant for government agencies, where processes are often complex and interdependent. The article reinforces that the idea that structured conflict management systems and leadership training are essential for maintaining smooth operations and preventing delays. My second resource is a video from Harvard Business that focuses on practical strategies for resolving workplace conflict. The video explains that most conflicts fall within 3 categories. Task conflict, it's about the work itself; relationship conflict, which involves personal tension; and value conflict, which would stem from deeper beliefs or principles. And understanding which type you're in is important because each one requires a slightly different approach. The video itself also walks through a simple but effective conflict resolution process. It starts with taking a moment to pause and de-escalate before responding, and then it emphasizes clarifying the issue by separating facts from assumptions. After that, it encourages exploring each person's underlying interests, not just what they want, but why they want it. Once the interests are clear, the next step is to generate multiple options together rather than jumping to a single solution. Finally, the process ends with agreeing on concrete next steps so both sides know what they can expect moving forward. And one of the strongest messages in the video is the importance of listening and reframing. The speaker explains that when people feel heard, they become less defensive and more willing to collaborate. Reframing or restating someone's concerns in a more neutral or constructive way, it helps to shift the conversation away from blame and toward problem solving. Overall, the video provided a very clear, structured approach that managers and employees can use to handle conflict more effectively. My third resource is a workplace conflict guide from the Society for Human Resource Management, otherwise known as SHRM. This resource focuses on practical HR-driven strategies that organizations can use to prevent and manage conflict. It explains that conflict often escalates when expectations are unclear or when employees don't feel safe raising concerns early. SHRM recommends creating a structured conflict management framework that includes informal conversations, supervisor facilitation, mediation options, and formal grievance procedures when necessary. The resource also highlights the importance of psychological safety, meaning employees feel comfortable speaking up without fear or retaliation. It emphasizes that leaders play a major role in setting communication norms, modeling respectful behavior, and addressing issues before they become formal disputes. Overall, they provide a clear roadmap for building a conflict-responsive culture, which is especially valuable in government settings where processes can be rigid and communication can easily be broken down. Fourth resource is a TED Talk by William Ury, a well-known negotiation expert. In his talk, he explained that listening is one of the most powerful tools in resolving conflict. He describes how people often enter conflicts focusing on defending their own position, but real progress happens when each side feels heard and understood. He explained that listening helps reduce defensiveness, builds trust, and opens the door to more collaborative solutions. He also talked about the importance of stepping back from the conflict, what he calls going to the balcony, so you can see the situation more clearly instead of reacting emotionally. Another key point he makes is the value of reframing, which means restating someone's concerns in a more neutral or constructive way. This helps shift the conversation away from blame and towards shared interests. The talk reinforces that effective communication skills are essential for resolving workplace disputes, especially in environments where tensions can build quickly. A realistic conflict could occur within the California Franchise Tax Board, involving the mailroom and the tax returning process unit. The mailroom is responsible for receiving, sorting, and date stamping thousands of taxpayer documents every day, including payments, amended returns, and correspondence. The processing unit depends on the mailroom to deliver these documents quickly and accurately so they can meet state deadlines and avoid taxpayer complaints. A conflict develops when the processing unit reports repeated delays and missing batches of mail. They claim the mailroom is understaffed, behind schedule, and not prioritizing time-sensitive documents. On the other side, the mailroom argues that the processing unit frequently sends unclear instructions, changes priorities without notice, and does not understand the volume and constraints the mailroom is dealing with. As frustration builds, communication becomes strained, blame is increasing, and both teams feel the other is making their jobs harder. This type of conflict is common in government agency where the work is highly interdependent, workloads are heavy, and delays can impact public services. Without a structured approach to resolving the issue, the conflict can escalate into formal complaints, reduce morale, and slower the taxpayer service. To address the conflict between the mailroom and the franchise tax board's processing unit, I recommended using a tiered dispute resolution design. The first level is prevention, which would include clear communication protocols, shared workload expectations, and regular check-ins between the two units. The second level is early intervention, where supervisors facilitate conversations to clarify issues and explore solutions before tensions escalate. If the conflict continues, the third level involves formal intervention through HR or an internal mediator who can guide a structured discussion and help create an agreement. The final level, used only when necessary, would involve external mediation or arbitration. This layered approach encourages early problem solving while still providing formal options when needed. Training: I recommended a conflict management and communication skills program for both supervisors and frontline staff. The training should cover conflict styles, interest-based negotiation, active listening, and de-escalation techniques. It should also include guidance on giving and receiving feedback and building psychological safety within teams. These skills are especially important in government settings where employees rely heavily on one another and where misunderstandings can quickly impact public services. To make the training effective, it should include a mix of practical and interactive techniques. Role plays can help employees practice real scenarios such as delays in mail processing or unclear instructions between units. Case studies allow teams to analyze common workplace conflicts and discuss solutions. Small group discussions help employees share perspectives and build empathy. Conflict-style self-assessments can help participants understand their natural tendencies. And finally, video demonstrations and guided practice give employees a chance to apply new skills in a supportive environment. In closing, Conflict is a normal part of any workplace, but with the right systems and training, government agencies like the Franchise Tax Board can manage it effectively. A structured dispute resolution design combined with strong communication and conflict management training helps improve collaboration, reduce delays, and strengthen public service. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to listening to your presentations this week as well.